Now let's talk about Jean-Paul Levesque. He's going to give notice to WCW on January 10th that he'd be leaving for the WWF. Allegedly, he turned down a contract that was worth between $1,500 and $1,800 per week. And apparently Levesque's decision was based on a track record of the WWF versus WCW when it came to creating new stars. And he felt that even though WCW had plans to make him and Steve Regal the tag champs with Sherry as their manager and feud with Harlem Heat in 95, that he'd take his chances without guaranteed money, since Titan is obviously going to push new blood this year as hard as it can. At company meetings, this is directly from the Observer, Eric Bischoff was fuming over Levesque's lack of loyalty because he took him from nothing, and this is the respect he gets. After the example set with Ricky Steamboat, I can't believe anyone can question a WCW wrestler about making a decision and even considering loyalty to the company. Of course, we're talking about Steamboat being let go when he was injured. We know that Jean-Paul Levesque is going to bet right here. He goes on to be Hunter Hearst Helmsley and then Triple H. And now one of the McMahons, essentially. I mean, the heir to the throne. What do you remember about recruiting Jean-Paul Levesque?
Well, it had actually started a year before that. Walter Kowalski, Killer Kowalski, had told us about this guy that he had trained, Terra Rising. He was his champion for Walter's independent promotion. And Pat and I had gone out to one of Walter's shows and take a look at him and like what we saw, and went to talk to him. And he told us, he goes, man, he'd given his word to WCW. They had offered him a contract, and he said, I'm going to WCW. We asked then said, okay, how long is your contract? He told us it was a year. And we said, when your contract's up, please give us a call. We'll be waiting for you and would love to do business with you down the road. So this came up, and at the time we didn't have anything for him, and then we did, and then we didn't. And he was actually ready to sign with WCW, as legend goes, but then Eric didn't get him a contract, and an opening came up on our end where it's like, hey, this guy's available, and said, are you still looking to come? Because we've got an immediate spot where we can use you, plug you into some live events and get you going, but you wouldn't start on TV for another few weeks if you'd be interested. And timing's everything. So our timing was, we had something for him there. WCW still hadn't gotten him a contract. And then when they did, it was just a little too little too late. He wanted the opportunity to come work for WWF, and he had his year in WCW and didn't feel like there was much left there for him. So the rest, as they say, is history.
Who's having that interaction? Does he hear the big pitch from Vince, or does he hear it from you or Pat?
I heard it from JJ. And met with Vince, and we all met with him and came up with the idea, of an aristocrat. We thought, I came up with Greenwich because I was asked, where's, like, name a place where you instantly dislike the people. I said, that's Greenwich. So this aristocrat from Greenwich, Connecticut. And, it was a combination, but he originally, all that was done with JJ over the phone. And then he met with Vince, and then we started rolling on vignettes and getting him in the mix.